Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first course of our blockchain, crypto, and NFT series. To start things off, I want to present a basic introduction to what the blockchain is and how do the different blocks fit and what it actually can do. So let's start with a simple definition of what a blockchain actually is. What it, in the simplest form, it's really just a vast public database for any type of digital info. So think of any database that you can think of, whether it's a Google, Facebook, or any type of data that you can put into it. A blockchain is just that. It's just a public database that anyone can look into and read and view and is available for the entire public. It uses something called a block to store this information. Usually we would have files or hierarchies or other different ways of doing it. But instead, this blockchain uses something called a block to store that information. And every new block, once it's closed off, will be linked to the previous block. And that is what gives it the name of a blockchain. A block size tells us how much data can be stored in one of the blocks before being closed and chained to the previous block before it. Now I know my line here says cryptocurrency, but as the technology gets better, essentially you have the ability to add any type of data into this block. And we'll cover that more in the upcoming classes. So to give some examples, Bitcoin, as of today, has a maximum block size of 1 megabyte. And Ethereum is 1/10 of that size at 0.1 megabyte. And again, as we get more into the tokenomics, we'll understand why Bitcoin has to be bigger because it has to be mined and there's more power that's taken, while ETH is more free form, so it only can be closed with less of a block and be done by less computing power. But to make things simple, a block size refers to how much data can be stored inside that block. The block height will tell us how many blocks are currently on a given blockchain. Bitcoin, as an example, has 733,240 mined blocks. Each of these blocks needs a complex algorithm to be solved to create a new block. And when somebody, whether it's a person or institution, mines a new block and closes it, they receive 6.25 Bitcoin. Now again, Ethereum is a different beast. It's more free form. And so it has 14.65 million blocks already. And it is adding, I believe, 6,000 blocks every single day. A block time tells us how often that a new block is created and added to a given chain. So this shows the level of difficulty and the time that it takes for the chain to be growing. Again, as I mentioned earlier, a Bitcoin block is added to the chain every 10 minutes because it is harder to get that block created and closed and store the info within it. It requires supercomputers and a lot of power to get it done. So about every 10 minutes, somebody is getting 6.25 Bitcoin for a new block. But as you can see here, Ethereum is again faster, and it's about 4 blocks a minute, and it's about 6,000 to 7,000 blocks per day. A block reward is the currency of that blockchain that is given to the miner who successfully adds a new block to the chain. And as I mentioned, it's usually the currency of that chain. But going back to the previous slide, a block can hold any sort of information that you'd like. So you can hand out whatever reward that you as the administrator want to give out. And the current Bitcoin reward is 6.25. And this will be halved in 2024. That means that in a few years, 2024, it will only pay out at what, 3.125. And that is again because each Bitcoin block requires a tremendous amount of computing power. And as the more and more people start to mine for Bitcoin, there will be less Bitcoin available, and therefore less will be given away. However, ETH doesn't work the same, and every block that's mined, you get about 2.2 ETH. This will not be halved because ETH is an infinite supply of the token. And so moving forward, any ETH will always be given, or any ETH block will always have 2.2 ETH. And finally, a block producer is the person or organization that produces the new block and adds it to the blockchain. You're the one that will get the reward that's given out, and you're the one that will forever have your name or your organization's name attached as the creator of that block. Now, the blockchain itself is public knowledge, the public database, so you can't go change a block that's already closed, but this is what it will be known that you were the original creator of this block. And this person could be the person that mined it or a validator node in some cases. In Ethereum cases, a lot of times when new blocks are being created, you don't have to be the one that actually creates a new block. You could just be ensuring that any new blocks created are valid and follow all the protocol rules for the Ethereum blockchain. This is what a block producer does.